So now we're going to do a very brief intro of best practice in terms of using DTS for DB migration, synchronization, and cutover. So basically, high level of best practices. First is to do the data dump, right? It could be online or offline. Secondly, for the incremental, right? Incremental, which means that so whatever that's been done doing the migration, so for example, there will be additional data, right, being added into the source. So for this particular one, then we have to wait for the incremental sync to be completed. And thirdly is to basically verify whether there's any, for example, data lag or data inconsistency, just to make sure there's zero. And fourth is to do the final data cutover, right? So for example, from the old DB to a new DB. So basically how you're going to leverage this DTS tool to achieve that is to pick one of the DB that's migrated previously, for example, Readiness. Going to click into it. They see that when you migrate it over for the first step, so over here is the data initialization, right? So over here, we're going to list out all the data being dumped as part of the progress. And secondly, after the initial data dump is done, we're going to monitor. And in the meanwhile, we're going to do the data consistency check, right, to see that whether the source is matching with the destination, right? So whether it is any inconsistency. And of course, it's just a summary of what is the configuration you set for the data consistency, right? Full data verification or partial, or because you're going to take up some of the resources when you do the validation. And secondly, is with only like validating the key or value because you're using the Readiness, which is the key value pair, right? So basically, this is the summary of that. And if you see the green lights here, of course, you can create additional data task check. They can set parameters and also whether you're doing the full or sample-based verification, right? Whether you're going to filter by key or certain keys to be validated or not. And of course, in order to protect the source and target will not be overloaded with this check. So you can do the settings, for example, the QPS settings, the review counts, the reject intervals, right? So over here, after this done, that you will be able to, for example, immediately stop there so that you find that actually data has been consistent and there's no, like, for example, source and target data inconsistency. And then you can double check on the task log to see whether it's been done, right? And last but not least, that you can perform the cutover. So basically, this is how you can leverage DTS and monitoring panels to verify cutover readiness and perform the cutover.